a ruckus or disturbs those ruins.
Oh. On another note, can I ask him about the things I heard from the civilians?
Which one?
About 2 judges going to war, possibly, and then...
Yeah, he has information on all 3. It's just, which one specifically are you going to hear about?
All of them?
Okay. The one that he has the absolute most information on is the outpost, because it directly involves this judge in this area. For the past about 50 years, we've had people moving, living out there in that general area. And the pre-existing tribes and people who live out there, the non-human, because there's no human tribes that naturally live out there. They've always been fairly open and friendly. We even, before we started setting up the area, before we started setting up the outpost, we actually got confirmation from all the outlying tribes that lived out there to ensure that was alright, so we didn't potentially encroach on their land, or on a hunting ground, or on a burial site. We didn't want to basically insult people that we were going to have to constantly have interactions with. It just wouldn't do. And we had got confirmation from all the said tribes that it was alright. The area is known for being actually fairly stable and free of conflict, even amongst all the tribes. There's very few times where conflict broke out, and even then it was normally a fairly small conflict that was pretty quickly resolved.
You stole my cow!
Yeah, pretty much. You took my cow. I did not. Well, right, I guess, but maybe not. Do you have any proof? Well, yeah. Okay, it is your cow. But fairly recently, when we finished construction of the actual outpost, the local tribes began... At first, they began getting fairly restless. I mean, it wasn't still open conflicts between any of them, but they started becoming more and more aggressive towards the people of the outpost. Before, when they were friendly and easygoing, now they were fairly aggravated with simple interactions. And it just progressively got worse and worse, to the point where if somebody goes to go outside of the outpost's walls, they have to be escorted by a contingent of guards because of the possibility of them being attacked by multiple tribes. And the thing is that none of the outlying tribes of the area could be considered stupid or primal or anything. They've all demonstrated fairly high intelligence. I mean, when I'm using the term tribe fairly loosely, they do have pretty high level of intelligence for what they are and how they live. I mean, nothing as big as what the city can produce, or even what the output, but they weren't primitive either. And they know, there's no way that they could possibly have the firepower or the manpower to actually overwhelm the walls. They'd all have to basically throw everything they have, and it would pretty much end up resulting in just everything in the area dying out. All the tribes would end up being wiped out, because by the time they get over the walls, the majority of them would be dead. But they are also of a higher caliber of warrior than most of our guards, because they have to live in harsher conditions more often. And they've always had to. They have just more training and that discipline. They'd end up wiping out each other. So we can't understand why it went from peaceful coexistence and acceptance of us being out there to suddenly openly attacking, and just refusing dialogue, refusing any sort of interaction to try and come to a peaceful.
Did they demand anything? Make any demands or?
No, that's like it'd even be another thing if they would have made demands. We could have potentially sat down and tried to work out something. I mean, the judge isn't so uncaring that he wouldn't have listened to demand. I mean, the simple fact that he actually had somebody go out to get the confirmation from the tribes that it was all right for them to build it is saying something when he could have easily just built. But no, as soon as the walls were completed and the outpost was done being put up, any interaction we had immediately went from friendly to aggravated and anger. They refused to talk about why they suddenly became like, and then as it went along, now they just straight up refuse any interaction. If anybody from the outpost attempts to interact with any of the outlying tribes, it does immediately result in that person being attacked. And I mean, we've tried our best to try and figure it out, and I mean, the judge has made it clear he doesn't want it to result in us going there and trying to wipe out or kill off the tribes.
God, I'm so glad we just didn't come to this town and summon a demon to the Great Overlord to kill everybody. Who would think of doing something stupid like that?
I don't know. Are you being sarcastic about it?
I'm being sarcastic.
Okay. No, I mean sarcastic about not so, like, I don't care, whatever. But, like, he doesn't want to straight up just send in military might, because, for one, the whole premise of building the outpost out there was to have the interactions with the tribes. It was to just basically expand out, not so much power, but more in terms of trading, just having more room for expansion and growth, but also have friendly in it. It won't appear good to the other judges as well. If the youngest of all the judges goes from saying, I've been able to have friendly relations with these tribes, I've built an outpost, to suddenly being, they've become too much of a hassle, I've had to kill them all off.
Is the youngest judge the one
from this
we're
city?
in?
Yeah,
Or?
he's the youngest judge. There's 5 of them, and the one from this city is the youngest out of the 5. So he's only been at his station for a couple hundred years. So, well, I did say they're all elves. Like,
Yeah, no, I just find it funny. This is the first time I'm not playing an elf, so it's actually significant for my character, the little human. It's like, oh gosh.
He is, but still by far, he's the youngest one. He's, at most, last time anybody really went back to check, he's been at his station for about 500 years. And the second youngest one... Huh?
That's a gnome's lifespan right there.
The second youngest judge has been at his station for 2,000 years. So
Fuck elves, yo.
I didn't realize they could live that long. I knew they could live several hundred years, but...
It depends on the elf, too, doesn't
yeah,
it?
because not all elf breeds are capable of living that long. And then there's probably magical... There is magical stuff going on there. It's keeping them living longer still. But elves can get to be a couple thousand years old before they're considered really old.
The average elf gets old about 900.
Yeah.
So...
And that's a normal... Like,
Yeah.
Arctic elves are one of the longest living, mostly because they're the ones who don't often get into fights, because they're the noble. I mean, if it comes down to it, if the judge feels that the people of the outpost are threatened enough that there's no other recourse, he's more along the lines of actually recalling the people to the city, sending large groups of soldiers and stuff to make sure they get safely back to the city, rather than go to war with the tribes. The tribes know the area more, so it'd be too costly for the city to actually pursue a prolonged military campaign to try and take over the area. And preferably, I'd rather it not come to that. We have too much of a stake out there, or too much time spent set up trying to get out there for us to back down, but I don't know. Unless something is done soon, it's looking more and more likely like it's a lost cause. The information on the two judges potentially going to war with each other, I don't know a tremendous amount about it. I'm only a captain, but from what I've heard from some of the others and the captain general is that
Captain.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a better term. I didn't want to call him straight a general
I was
because
gonna say general.
because it's
His name's
he's
General,
only
and he's a
he's
captain.
only the cap. He's only in
Name's
charge
Captain,
of.
he's a general.
But he's only in charge
You don't
of.
understand the reference. It's from Team 4-Star.
Yeah.
Captain General Ravagé the Third.
But he's only in charge of the guards, not in charge of the actual military. They're separate. From what he said is Lord O has been basically encroaching on Lord U. He's been encroaching on the land. He's actually been forcing tariffs on basically people of Lord U's land, sending troops in and basically claiming that they're trespassing on Lord O's land and forcing out money. Lord Au is naturally not pleased on the fact that somebody who he's supposed to be allied with is suddenly basically pushing the borders and trying to demand money from people that he has no right to demand money from. And Lord O is basically also claiming that Lord U is doing the same thing. It's been... Last time that the judges were actually actively at each other's throats was well before even any of these judges were alive.
Sounds like someone's just trying to stir up crap everywhere.
Sounds like just simple miscommunication.
Well, no, you have them both claiming they're both doing bad to each other, but one's, I guess, clearly...
It's only noticeable... Lord O is the only one that it can clearly be seen that he's doing anything. Lord EU, as far as anybody sees...
These people who used to be allies, one just randomly flips his lid. It's kind of like the same situation with what you have at your borders, with the civilians, the tribes that you were allied with suddenly just flipped their lid too. It might not be far off thought that it might be connected somehow. And if you have people running tariffs, you have people be imposters, possibly, trying to tariff other people under the guise of a different guard, could very well be what happened here.
He looks and like he's understanding what you're saying.
Yeah.
And he's trying to basically come to terms with it.
You
Seems like it's a bit kind of
well, I mean, you have people
over his mind almost. Like he understands what you're saying, but at the same time, it's a bit much for him to kind of come to terms with, because it's basically just crap's going down and it's all interconnected. And he's trying to come to terms with who would have enough power to basically be able to do. And I mean, our judge, he doesn't want to get involved with this.
Understandable.
There's too many problems going on with the territory that he is in control of, in his mindset, before he can even worry about getting involved with somebody else's one of the other judges' business. He has to be able to deal with the problems that are going on in his own area.
Why?
And also, it's a needless conflict, and there's no reason for him to risk his troops when he has no true stake in it.
I'm not saying he has to go intervene. I'm saying that the problem here might escalate to what happened there.
And I mean, it's clear he's worried about it. He's not. It's not beyond his. He doesn't want to be involved with it at the moment because it could end up being resolved. There have been minor border disputes, but never like open challenges of we may go to war before. And he's hoping that one of the judges either eventually backs down because either they back down eventually or they come to terms with it before it comes to that, because currently those two, if they do go to war, they're too close to our area. We would eventually be drawn into the war if it did come to it. There'd be no way we could avoid it. And then in terms of the north, with what's going on up there, it's still not confirmed yet. It's pure speculation, but the people of that town believe that they've been hearing the thunder of the blue dragons returning.
Oh, the blues.
It's potentially both variants of the blues. They'd be the first time in quite a while since dragons outside the spire have appeared.
Why is that boring to you, Jill?
Nasty ass blue dragons.
The last time there's blue dragons, like all the dragons are still around, it's just outside of the specific spot. Like there's the spire and that's where all the dragons.
You're asking at a game why I don't want character worships Bahamut.
I only in game, like just playing in game, I only have the colored dragons in there. I don't have the metallic, but I have the colored dragons be both sides. They're not just straight up evil. So.
Why'd you let me
I'll have
be
silver.
my character?
I'll have silver.
I was gonna say, he's like, why would you let me my character be what it is then?
I'll have silver in there. But I was having the colored dragon basically just be both sides instead of it being...
Yeah.
Because I don't like the vast majority of the good dragons, I think. I don't like how they look, and I don't like how they act, because they're good dragons, but they're still really douchey towards everybody. And they're just like...
The typical paladin.
The silver dragons are the only ones who are actively like, you know what? Maybe we should be involved. Like, the silver and the brass. But the brass are basically just, I'm a horse.
Like the silvers.
The brass are just kind of like, hop on, guys, I'll carry you around. Yeah,
it's better than the colored cat.
Well, whites are just cats.
They are.
I like the cats.
But
horses are more useful.
It would... But outside the spire, it'd be the first time that dragons have actually, in quite a few hundred years, that dragons have been outside the spire. The blues did.
I've taken a couple baths. Do your characters actually look at mine? You just kind of assume. Did you actually glance upon my face?
Visage.
It's been hidden the entire time.
No, you took my cloak, dude.
Yeah, she gave you...
I didn't realize it was that cloak.
Yeah, that's the only cloak I have.
I didn't know that.
It's the only piece of my clothing I was willing to give you.
Because it was the only one that made sense.
I need to walk back into our room, just throw it, and grab it and just throw it at your head.
She's not gonna want it anymore.
You just start screaming as you claw at your face.
It burns! No, yeah, my character's hair, the roots, it's short and a little bit curly.
I think I saw your hair earlier. It's not just black.
Its roots are actually almost white. Since I've taken a couple baths, my hair stuff's been washing out, so you can actually tell my roots now. My roots are, in fact, not black like the rest of my hair.
Sorry.
You son of a bitch! No, I'm trying to hint, because I am human, but I'm a special kind of human. You dropping them hits like they're hot. No.
Shit, am I human? What am I?
Shit, what am I? Well,
Yeah, I'm human.
You're both human. I'm gnome. Brandon's currently orc, and Sam, if he ever decides to come back, was a halfling.
he was a halfling, wasn't he? Does Sam hate us? Is
Sam?
that why he left us?
No, basically every time that, like, I keep trying to set up a day where he can play with it, and then every day that I set up, he actually has something that he already has.
Oh, boo.
Like, the whole day. He was in Kentucky the whole day.
Oh, boo. Why
Excuses.
Are you Kentucky?
College visit.
Oh, ooh. Can I have some more watermelon?
Sure. I brought it so it would get eaten.
It will get
I
eaten.
figured of everyone, me and you would probably eat the most. Wasn't sure if Adam or Curtis would have any.
I like watermelon flavor. I don't like the feel of it in my mouth. Yeah. And which makes me really sad, because like I said, I do like how it tastes. But
Put it in a blender.
I didn't think that. I have that cranberry juice.
I'm just eating the seeds. I'm too lazy to spit them out.
But then you're gonna grow watermelon in your stomach.
Delicious! I can eat watermelon then.
You won't have to eat it. It'll just decompose.
I'd
after
probably
it grows.
burp. I'd probably burp watermelon. That'd be awesome.
Like Curtis burps trunks.
Yeah, burping.
But
Burping sounds an awful like birthing.
yeah, if it is the Blue Dragons returning, then the people just everywhere are hoping more so that it's the reverent female blues than the barbaric male blues. Split up. The male, to fill in the blank, the male Blue Dragons
You monster.
have kept up a barbaric. They're little more than just rampaging creatures. The female blues, for whatever reason, are the only other ones besides the reverent silver dragons of the spire that actually show some form of intelligence and willingness to interact with other people. Here's a picture of what the female ones would look like. So.
Dude, badass. I can totally dig those wings.
Huh. That's not blue at all.
It's
That but blue.
yeah. Like I had a better picture, but it's no longer up online. So, do you want to look at it, Curtis?
No. Yeah.
White with red tips.
Yeah.
So
Is that the silver?
would your version be blue?
It'd be
red
blue
tips?
with red tips. No. It'd be a light blue, so it would almost be
Almost white.
hard to distinguish
Silver.
it. Yeah. Pretty. Oh no, yeah.
No. Silver.
No, there's silver dragons. The silver dragons look like silver dragons and stuff. And
Can they look like that but silver?
No.
no, because those are the blue ones.
Well, can they be silver with gold tips to their wings?
It's in there.
I'm digging the feathery wings, man.
I'll let the wings change. I'll let the wings
Okay.
change.
I'm
It's
digging-
the body is what I want to keep because I like how the silvers actually look.
I do too. I just dig.
But
those.
I'll let the silvers also have like the feathered wings to them. So,
Excellent.
but yeah, it's heavily believed that the female blue dragons actually brought forth most of the known knowledge of the northern area of the world. Before, at least in most records before that, the majority of the northern world was pretty bare, it was less than spectacular in terms of knowledge. It was mostly clan infighting and land disputes. Out of all the areas, the north is probably the most prosperous out of all the areas. But Nerd.
What's the ETA on that weapon I won?
Suddenly, a package appears in your lap. Smacks you in the head.
Where'd it come from?
The air.
I look around.
It phased in. So
Oh, well, how am I supposed to pay for it?
they said that it would auto collect. So
You might want to look at your
Do they
wallet.
just have their hands in my pocket at all times?
no.
Only whenever you pay for something.
Maybe they stole the necklace.
Hopefully that's how you paid for
That's
it.
what I was about to say. We can hope.
It's a small little package, not a box, but a package.
Excellent.
It's a box. Inside the
In
package is a
vague
box.
square shape, but
It's simply a paper
but
box.
it's
Do you hear me?
round. So
Inside the package is a box.
No, son of a bitch!
I'm gonna have to check my money later to make sure that no more than 75 got taken out.
That's how you paid for it?
shipping and hand.
Oh yeah, you changed it to.
There was no
70.
shipping or handling.
Yes, it was magic. They shipped it, and then they had to handle it when they were putting it into the package.
They didn't just ship it; they shipped it 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah, their shipping's late. They should have to pay for that.
No dice.
Well, are we still talking with the guards?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're still talking.
Yeah.
And
about
I'll
guards.
wait till we're
Okay.
not. With
I think
the
we're
guards.
almost done anyway.
Okay. It's the last time that the dragons were notable of being exactly the last time the dragons were notable for being outside the spire was a couple 100 years ago before the Draco
Spire. You just talk about
spire. hmm
spire.
It's in the northwesternmost point. It's along the coast.
What? It has dragons?
It's the large portion of that area is controlled by only dragons. It's mostly just dragons and
I don't like
dragon subtypes that
No.
live in that area.
delightful.
No.
Delightful.
No.
I will punch you in your knackers.
No.
The spire was said to be created by the Draco father for his, just the dragon father. For his children, they said that he just took the earth and shot it up into the sky. Supposedly, it goes higher than the floating landmass in the center.
Why can they see the top of the landmass?
They can see definitely like where there's the ledge of the landmass. Like even down here, you could see like the ledge of the landmass, and you can tell that it doesn't go much higher than that unless it's straight up in the middle. This one, it's basically just shoots up into the air. It's not even a mountain. It was altered and made. It's a spire that shoots up into the air, and they can't see the tip of it.
I want to go back and listen to this whole thing because I want to see how we got.
Just hear the transition between each.
I want to see how we got.
If you want to,
from
I can
Spire-
upload the stuff that doesn't have to do with the game.
Yeah, just
Like
yeah.
I said, you have an edited version.
I liked the gnome on fire.
Dad Kronos too. We can't forget Kronos for that one episode. You can light the gnome on fire all you want.